Shedeur Sanders hasn't forgotten what Travis Hunter did to his career, even if the NFL has separated them. When Travis Hunter signed his historic contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars, thousands reacted on social media, but one response stood out for its simplicity and symbolism. Shedeur Sanders shared the news with just a crossed fingers emoji. Nothing more. Sometimes you don't need many words to show that some connections remain, even when professional paths no longer align. Hunter and Shedeur were more than just teammates at Colorado. They shared the field, the pressure moments, the spotlight, and even the silences. They were part of a unique journey led by Deion Sanders, and although they now wear different NFL jerseys, the story they built together doesn't fade with a new uniform or a massive paycheck. Thank you for watching. Hunter became a headline, not only because of his talent, but because of the contract he signed. 4 years, $46.65 million, fully guaranteed with more than $30 million paid up front. A deal never seen before for someone who is not a quarterback and was not the first overall pick. The Jaguars announcing him as both a wide receiver and a cornerback only confirmed what many already believed. They are all in on his versatility. Some bonds are stronger than any draft. In that context, Shedeur's gesture carried even more meaning, because while contracts and money shape a player's path, there are things that numbers can't capture. Taking a moment to celebrate his friend says more than any post-game interview. It is not just pride, it is respect. It is knowing they stood by each other when the future was uncertain, and that what they have achieved today has roots in what they lived side by side. The NFL placed them on different teams, but not in different worlds. And even if they won't share a locker room again anytime soon, the respect, the admiration, and that bond between two young men who once dreamed the same dream from the same place is still untouched. The lights of the NFL gleamed brighter than anything Shedeur Sanders had imagined, even after growing up in the radiance of his father Deion's spotlight. Stadiums thundered with roars. Sports analysts sang his name with reverence or critique, and contracts brought more zeros than dreams. But amid it all, between the corporate interviews, film sessions, and last-minute drives, there was always one name that tugged at his memory like a hook: Travis Hunter. I just want to say, if you're proactive and trying to pick this struggle up from the dirt, years after they'd played together at Colorado, the NFL had pulled them apart. Different teams, different cities, different narratives. But Shedeur hadn't forgotten, not for a second. He remembered the moment it all changed, not for the team, but for his career. It was the fall of 2023, and Colorado football was more spectacle than sport. The media buzzed about Deion Sanders' transformation of the program, and the roster brimmed with transfers, hype, and Shedeur was already making noise at quarterback, calm under pressure, pinpoint accuracy, and that unique blend of poise and fire. But there was still something missing. Until Travis. Hunter wasn't just a cornerback. He was something rarer, a genuine two-way threat, the kind of player whose mere presence changed the math of a football game. When he lined up at wide receiver, sometimes barely rested from a defensive stand, Shedeur saw a new dimension open in their offense. And then came that game, Colorado versus USC. Ranked opponents, national attention, a shootout from start to finish. Shedeur had thrown 3 touchdowns already, but Colorado still trailed by 10 late in the fourth. Time slipping, pressure mounting. He looked to his left. There was Travis, exhausted, helmet lifted for a breath, one eye squinting through pain. But he nodded. No words, just belief. Lifted in the pocket and launched the ball into a window that looked like pure madness. And Hunter, he made it look like art. Leaping between defenders, snatching the ball midair, and falling backward into the end zone. It wasn't just a touchdown, it was a statement. The comeback didn't just seal a win, it sealed Shedeur's reputation. From that moment on, every scout, every pundit, every coach saw what Shedeur could do under fire, with Travis there to elevate the moment. Years passed, the NFL draft came. Shedeur went in the first round, one of the highest picks of the year. Travis went too, but later to a different team. Injuries had slowed his final season, and some teams questioned whether a two-way player could hold up in the pros. But Shedeur knew better. Even now in post-game pressers or late-night interviews, he kept finding ways to bring up Travis. A quote here, a nod there. Man, I owe a lot to Travis. Best player I've ever shared the field with. If he gets the right system, he's changing the league. At first, reporters thought it was just nostalgia. Then it became something deeper, a thread of loyalty woven into every word.